Hello, dear friends. The best teacher is your enemy because he tests your patience, your self-control, and your tolerance, according to Tibetan lamas. Opinion piece: healing the past, paper tigers, closing cycles, upset people, healing the soul, toxic environment, the new happiest, Unfunny circus clones, from Madrid to heaven, looking back without anger, awakening to a better world. We shrank under the weight. We are in the eye of the storm, letting go of yesterday's burden. Let's start. What is it about the past that makes us dislike looking back? Doors were closed to us, and paths were blocked from making life for ourselves. They humiliated us, instilled fear in us, drained our energy, and on top of that, convinced us that we were useless and worthless. And I say us because I think I'm not the only one. I almost always summarize other people's opinions, but this time I am going to give mine. Almost all the people who hate me are now dead. They were upset characters, toxic people buried by their own negative karma and their own contradictions. I suppose they must have seen the damage they caused when they had their life review. I refuse to believe they were all bad. Rather, I consider them spiritually ill, unaware of the harm they caused, but expert at creating obstacles and tripping others up. I learned Latin the hard way, and that is why I have so much sympathy for the Dominicans, the Jesuits, and the Brothers of La Salle. I had to learn many tricks to get ahead and navigate suppressive people. I discovered they are like paper tigers when you confront them, but that required courage. I suppose they put those graceless circus clones in front of me so I'd learned to outdo them, but I see they were incompatible with the nature of divine perfection. From Madrid to heaven, because in Madrid I found heaven. For the first time in my life, I could say what I thought without feeling ridiculous. There I had the opportunity to attend conferences and discussions and communicate with people who shared my ideas and feelings. Then I returned to my homeland and found myself with a nightmare boss and an exploitative job. I called him the miserable little parrot in my head because he was never happy with my work, no matter how hard I tried to achieve perfection. Later I discovered he was a suppressive being, that is, a spiritually sick being who bases his survival on suppressing the survival of others. He's still alive, but I don't see him happy. Then I started my own business, which was a complete disaster, and I am still burdened by debt. But in the meantime, I began my work in spiritual outreach, translating Sheldon Idle's messages, and I discovered that this was my life's mission. And I haven't stopped since. At first, I did it for free, but then I realized that mystery journalism is my legitimate profession and that I need to make a living like everyone else. But this work is a calling, and it's not paid for the countless hours invested in researching these topics. Now I have realized that past never really existed. It was my own nightmare that forced me to wake up. Therefore, I have decided to erase all those unpleasant experiences from my life and thank my enemies for the lesson they taught me. The only oases for my generation were utopian movements like the hippies, the music of the 60s and 70s, and the many idealistic teachers and writers we were lucky enough to meet and read. So too were the wonderful moments of solitude I spent in the mountains during my childhood. The new earth. I just dreamt of the new earth. I felt it lighter and happier, and less overwhelming than now. There were many joyful people in the streets, and they were very helpful, offering assistance before you even asked. It wasn't a perfect world, but it was a marvel compared to the current one. According to Laura Aboli, we weren't born broken. We were born radiant, wonderful, beautiful, powerful, and limitless, but indoctrination, fear, manipulation, and the experience of pain and loss gradually eroded that light until we forgot who we truly were. We shrank under the weight of what happened to us until the trauma itself became our identity. Now it's the time to shed those layers, to stop letting our scars define us, to remember the essence of who we are, divine beings with infinite potential. Only then can we begin to create and experience the world we all secretly dream of. Healing isn't just personal, it's collective, and we open the door to a new world the moment we dare to imagine a life beyond trauma. Resolve. According to Zachary Fisher, change requires you to stand firm. What's amazing is how many people say they want the world change until the change actually begins to happen. Real change isn't clean. It doesn't arrive wrapped in comfort. It shakes things up. It exposes things. It brings to light what has been hidden. The moment that pressure hits, many people fall back into fear, not because they are weak, but because fear is familiar and conditioned. It has been reinforced time and time again. This change asks something different of us. Can you stay centered when things seem uncertain? Can you trust what is unfolding even when it doesn't look as you expected? Can you remain grounded in something deeper than the noise? The more people have real faith, not blind belief, but a solid understanding that humanity is moving forward, the smoothing this transition will be. Fear creates resistance. Trust creates fluidity. And we see both manifesting simultaneously. You don't have to ignore what's happening. You don't have to pretend everything is perfect. But you do have the choice of how you deal with it. Stay grounded and alert. Stay grounded in what you know is possible, because humanity doesn't lose this. Evolve through it. Masquerade. According to Starship Earth, life is a masquerade, and the world is a stage. Many will wonder how much longer the masses can continue to ignore the situation before the bucket of ice water is thrown on them. The psychological operation hasn't reached that point yet. There are many revelations underway, with a strong push for disclosure. With the number of UFO sightings, I don't understand why it would surprise so many people, but it will be interesting when most of humanity discovers that their civilization was infiltrated by beings from other worlds thousands of years ago, and that that they still walk among us today. There are space shifters, clones, and surgically enhanced doubles, as well as actors in masks recreating our lives. We see it all, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Deception is everywhere. Today's technology is convincing, but it's all a show, a charade. The bad guys do it, and the guys do it too. There are many things out there that are no human. When heroes deliver justice to those who deserve it, the enemy usually replaces them to maintain the illusion of control and to keep the rest of humanity ignorant, docile, malleable, and easy to control. Alternative news. An executive order mandates the closure of secret biological laboratories. The world has crossed the point of no return, according to Cryon. Humanity has entered a stage of irreversible change, and the previous cycle has closed. He describes the current period as the closing of one cycle and the beginning of another one, with profound changes in human consciousness. The book Awakening the Christ Within argues that traditional Christianity has betrayed the original teaching of Jesus by emphasizing dogma, hierarchy, and rituals over authentic spiritual transformation. Scientists reveal that time travel could work. Researchers have proposed an approach that could allow sending messages to the past using principles of quantum mechanics. In fact, it could be happening right now. Since 1871, millions of people have been unknowingly registered in a corporate system that turned human life into financial collateral. Now, the Great Awakening is exposing the truth and reclaiming sovereignty, according to media greed. A seismic revolution is brewing beneath the surface, in a world shrouded in secrecy, where hidden powers have controlled the course of history, according to media greed. The fall of the cabal is not a show for the masses, but a secret operation that will forever change the course of our world. Religious leaders revealed they were briefed in a secret meeting with government officials on how to reveal the existence of extraterrestrial beings to their congregations. The revelations of extraterrestrial life will cause severe nervous breakdowns in some of the most religious people, according to Elisa Arias. And when they realize that religion has been used as a mechanism of control to divide and conquer humanity, those priests, pastors, and ministers will have a lot of explaining to do. Wars and chaos are nothing more than distractions orchestrated to divert your attention from the spiritual awakening that is unfolding, according to Commander Brilum. Those who seek to control Earth are clinging to one last vestige, attempting to maintain their dominion through fear and division. No nuclear detonation will be allowed, as it would destroy not only humanity, but also the Earth itself. We are in the midst of the storm, according to the Yorkshire Lass. We were warned that things would get difficult, and that the end would not please everyone. The exposure and disclosure of information is intensifying, and it is unsettling to see people awakening from their slumber. Even those who are awake find it difficult to navigate this stage of the plan. You already know how this all ends. God has already won. Everything seems very bad, but it isn't. There are good people who see us and hear us. They are watching us very closely. You could say they are protecting us. Right now, we are going through the birth pangs of a new era, and it will be beautiful. But first, we have to unmask evil and darkness before we reach our new, better world. It will not be an easy path. Focus on the positive instead of the negative, because many good things are happening. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.